Hey, what's up guys? I'm a 23-year-old man-child that only watches Marvel movies, and a couple weeks ago the world was graced with a new Captain America movie, where Marvel finally proved all the haters saying that they've fallen off after Endgame wrong by completely spoiling the entire goddamn movie in the trailers.
Since when were they red?
Shut the fuck up! Harrison Ford turning into Red Hulk was like the worst kept secret of all time with how they put him on literally every goddamn poster. Okay, even McDonald's was spoiling that shit. And it's not the first time they've done this either, because Marvel must like get off on sneaking in what could have been like the most incredible reveal of all time, and then spoiling it in the trailer anyway because they know they'll make more money that way.
Hey everyone.
Holy shit, it's Spider-Man!
And you know, I get it. There's no point saving it as a surprise if it means you can drag more vitamin D deficient nerds to go see it. But at least those movies had like something else to offer aside from that, and also were good. And it's like, at the same time, I get it, because like, who's gonna willingly see Captain America 4 unless they're plastering Harrison Ford's red CGI nipples all over it? But I still thought there's gotta be like something else that they were hiding in there. But no, that was it. That was the whole movie. And it's kind of weird to be seeing that from the same company that made like blatantly lying in their trailers, like their whole thing. This is the same Marvel that only a few years ago were editing Spider-Man out of trailers and pretending like people didn't already call that like 6 months ago. But like, everyone was okay with it. We loved it when they scrubbed shit out to hide spoilers, like Thor's eye or the stones in the Infinity Gauntlet, or again, putting so much effort into hiding Andrew or Toby only for the fucking Brazilian trailer to show Lizard breaking his fucking neck and definitely not being bodied by an invisible Andrew Garfield. Because I'm sure the overworked VFX artists who haven't seen their kids in 2 years would have been so happy to have made 2 versions of every single scene. But we're in phase 5 now, baby. No one's seeing these things anymore, okay? The M in MCU stands for Mom, I Wanna Go Home. They can't afford to have surprises anymore, so they're just doing whatever they can to get people to see this shit. Like when they saw that the Marvels were selling less tickets than freaking Black Adam, and they'd already spoiled all of the cameos already, they started putting out trailers where half of it was just shots from Endgame that had nothing to do with the movie. They don't give a shit anymore, okay? And so I can't believe I'm saying this, but yeah, I think I miss being blatantly lied to. But first, before we continue, I have to do a really bad transition into the sponsor segment. War Thunder's back, baby. The best free-to-play combat simulator that's available on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and now even on mobiles. You can style on those console gamers while taking the fattest dump of your life. War Thunder's got thousands of different vehicles to blow up that you can customize with our community workshop that has more anime skins than there were fatalities in World War II. Join the community of 70 million other horribly addicted players in a game that has models and x-rays so intricate, you can see exactly how much that guy is never going to see his kids again. And gameplay immersive enough to be a serious danger to anyone over the age of 65. So as always, make sure you check out the pinned comment or link in the description to sign up and get a bonus pack that comes with like 20 million things, like 100k Silver Lions, a light tank, aircraft, torpedo boat, 50% boosters, 7 days premium account, 2 vehicles to rent for 7 days, decoration, Eagle of Valor, and 10 backups for each rented vehicle. All this available on PC and console for any new or returning players you haven't played in 6 months. Thanks so much to War Thunder for helping me financially survive the first few months of the year, and let's get back to being mean to Marvel. So we've got the marketing for Thunderbolts, where like everyone on Reddit has turned into goddamn Sherlock Holmes, analyzing that because Taskmaster is in like barely any of the trailers, they're not even trying to hide the fact that she's gonna end up like Slipknot from Suicide Squad in the first 5 minutes of the movie. And that's why like the story trailer for like The Last of Us Part 2 had to go out of its way to hide the twist that Joel gets his head caved in with a golf club in the first 5 minutes by making a bunch of entirely fake scenes with him in the trailer.
You think I'd let you do this on your own?
I think I'd let you do this on your own.
When we released that first trailer for the game, a lot of people guessed that Joel was dead. And that's when we came up with the idea of swapping Joel and Jesse here. You know, our motivation was in the right place of trying to protect the story, but didn't maybe think it through of how it might upset some people.
But it's not like there's a rule that says what they're hiding has to be good. You know, there's this shot in the 2014 Godzilla trailer they completely made up just to hide the fact that there was more than one monster in it, and that's always kind of cute, and I'm okay with it. But the trailers also made everyone think that both Walter White and the guy that the movie is named after would have more than freaking 8 minutes of screen time in a 2-hour movie. They're not going to tell you that the big A-list actor dies not even halfway into the movie and then gets replaced with the most boring-ass character of all time, because they know that literally no one wants to see that shit, but it means they can pretend they're hiding it from you for the sake of spoilers and not because that shit is arse. And yeah, I know you might be thinking that trailers like come out way before the movie is even done yet, so you're always gonna have some shit that gets changed by the time your ass is in that cinema. And it's kind of cool sometimes, like, you know, you can still see Peter's web shooters in the first trailer for the old Spider-Man before they just changed it to him naturally ejaculating it out of his wrist. I love that shit. It's so cool. And the trailer for Rise of the Beast shows that the original final battle looks too good, so they spent months before the movie came out making it look like complete dog shit. And the same with Sonic 3. Why did they do this? You can't call this false advertising when it's just something that kind of happens, but it doesn't mean that 12-year-old me is ever gonna get over missing out on the Gamora side boob. Everyone always brings up that one fucking shot of Hulk in Infinity War that almost made it into the movie before Marvel realized that they almost gave the Hulk something to do other than get his ass beat and fuck off. But like, I'm pretty sure going off like deleted scenes and interviews that this was probably meant to be in the movie and they just pussied out later, so they get a pass this time. But everything since Endgame has been like a shit show behind the scenes. Like, apparently they're pretty much making each of these movies like 5 times at this point, so a lot of these last minute changes are becoming like a hell of a lot more obvious. Like, the trailer for Ant-Man 3 has more of an arc for Scott than the final movie, because it has Kang going on about like giving Scott more time with his daughter that he missed out on when half the world was fucking dead for 5 years, which obviously they had to cut out because it would have actually given him a character arc.
You have a daughter, but you've lost a lot of time. Like me. Who are you? I'm the man who can give you more time.
Like, maybe it was meant to be in an earlier version of the movie, or maybe they just lied. We're never gonna know. I'm too young to remember being lied to by the Iron Man 3 trailers where they like made it look like this really dark, serious movie where Iron Man was gonna fight fucking terrorists and shit, and then in the actual movie the bad guy is some dude whose superpower was being a microwave. But I do remember the trailer for Multiverse of Madness pissing me the hell off, because that shit was just straight up promoting a completely different movie, okay? Because they made it sound like it was gonna be about Strange being punished for all the shit he did in No Way Home and having to team up with Wanda to fight Patrick Stewart or some shit, and I still want to see that movie.
The multiverse is a concept about which we know frighteningly little. The multiverse is a concept about which we know frighteningly little.
You really think someone would do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies?
There's a part in the Morbius trailer where Jared Leto walks past graffiti of Spider-Man that is the single most infuriating goddamn thing I've seen in my entire life. Because like, at first, you think it might be a reference to Far From Home where he drone strike Mysterio, but then you're like, then why is it in the Tobey Maguire suit that's from the Spider-Man PS4 game? And it's because these guys know that every time they put out a trailer, they've got about 4 billion channels on YouTube that make 25 Avengers Endgame length videos analyzing these 30-second trailers. They definitely put this shit in there on purpose, okay? They know what they're doing. And so you had all these people theorizing about what it meant. Like, was it going to take place in the MCU? Was Tobey Maguire going to come back? Turns out the answer is it doesn't matter because it's not even in the goddamn movie. And that's not even the only thing they straight up lied about, by the way, because the first few trailers for Morbius also pretend that he teams up with Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming. And yeah, I mean, he does in the last fucking 10 seconds of the movie. There's literally no way that Sony only filmed the shit for the trailers, by the way, because that would have meant they would have had to pay Michael Keaton and Jared Leto to actually be in the same room, and they're way too cheap for that. So yeah, again, maybe these were both things that just got cut. I mean, Morbius was meant to come out in 2020 before the pandemic tragically robbed us of the cinematic masterpiece for 2 years, but it's the fact that Sony has a bit of a history with being the biggest goddamn con artist of all time. Like, Madam Web's trailer has basically every shot of any time the Spider-Women are in their costumes, and it's still 3 times longer than their total screen time in the final movie. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 made its entire goddamn marketing campaign around the idea of the villains teaming up. Like, oh shit, the bad guys are gonna unite this time, and you bet that never happened. They just make you think that Rhino is gonna be one of the main villains when he's literally only in the last shot of the movie. Cool. You got the newest Ghostbusters too, right? Where it would be very reasonable for you to think that after looking at literally any of the trailers or posters to get the vibe that the movie's gonna be about the whole city freezing over and then like fighting a city full of ghosts. And yeah, they do in the last 20 minutes. The Sonic Forces trailer has all the bad guys show up and in no way tells you that half of them don't even have boss fights, but technically they're in the game, so they're not lying to you. I don't need to bring up Kangaroo Jack, alright? You guys all know the story about how that movie catfished a bunch of 10-year-olds into seeing a movie about drug smuggling. Fuck you, Kangaroo Jack. But you know what? At least those guys put some effort into gaslighting millions of small children, because some trailers just full-on make some shit up and just hope no one notices. Because like, if they thought I wasn't going to realize that they recorded and animated entirely different lines for the Sherlock Gnomes trailer to somehow make the movie even less funny, then they were wrong, okay?
That's not how a squirrel wags its tail. This is. That's not how a squirrel shakes its behind. Mankini, can you demonstrate?
I kind of respect the commitment to spend like thousands of dollars on new animation just to fucking lie to people. That scene in the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer of him and Iron Man, that's not in the movie. They just did that because Sony was desperate for you to know that Iron Man was going to be in it because they didn't think the most popular and well-known superhero in the entire goddamn world was enough to sell their movie. The trailer for the Snyder Cut of Justice League got Joker to say the funny gamer line,
"We live in a society."
Wait, what? And guess what? It's not in the movie. And I only found that out the hard way after watching 4 hours of that shit. Because they definitely did it just so that they could save millions on marketing by having everyone fucking posting about it on Twitter. Because it's not a coincidence that he says that shit at the exact same time the title of the movie comes up, okay? I'm onto you guys. They added like a whole ass TIE fighter to this one shot in the Rogue One trailer, which in hindsight would explain why she doesn't seem to give a shit about it. And what about when they green screened in Lightning McQueen's into scenes he was not in Cars 2 because they knew you weren't going to be seeing that shit for Mater. You just gotta love how they have like the time and resources to make entirely fake scenes for these trailers, but they can't call up Owen Wilson to redo a couple lines for a promo so he doesn't sound like a fucking text-to-speech bot.
This is the first time for me in the Marvel universe.
But then, like, who's gonna stop them, right? It's not like this is illegal, you know? What are you gonna do, sue them? Because two guys actually tried that after they rented the movie yesterday for $4 and then asked for a very reasonable $5 million in emotional damages after they found out they cut Ana de Armas out of the movie. Now, I don't know whether or not this actually worked or how much they're actually going to enforce that, because it would have shut down the entirety of Sony Pictures by now. But anyway, it could always be worse, okay? At least it's still not like the gaming industry where they got like professional competitive false advertising going on over there. I can't think of a single game in like the last 10 years that had a trailer that actually fucking accurately represented the final product, because this is an entire industry that's carried on the back of the words not actual gameplay. Like, yeah, sure, we can make the whole Switch trailer for Mortal Kombat 1 out of PC footage. Like, they're not gonna notice when a literal Steam achievement pops up halfway through. Who gives a shit anymore? Anyway, that's all from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out War Thunder on PC or consoles in the link in the description, or pinned comment if you want all your limited time goodies and stuff. It's free, it doesn't cost any money, and I will see you guys in the next video if Kevin Feige doesn't assassinate me for doing like 3 superhero movie videos in a row.